Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. Wow, so much has been happening. Everyone seems to be stepping down. From the Rivers State APC primaries, it began with the sitting governor, Similaye Fubara, and then Tonya Cole, another foremost contestant, and yet another big one, Alabo George Kelly. The question now is who else is on that ballot? So, Okwe, my question to you is now that everyone has stepped down, what are you stepping down from?
Nothing. It's their business. It's their politics. Good morning, by the way. It's a pleasure to have you join us on the show again today. But I've always told people that don't get enticed by a meal prepared by the devil, and no matter how long you think your spoon is. And I think that's what we're seeing playing out with Fubara in the River State. Of course, with his father and predecessor, which is the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, that had vowed that Fubara would never return as a governor in Rivers State. It's been from one problem, one pot to one kettle to the other. And since he got sworn in, state of emergency was declared, democracy was suspended for 6 months in the state. 3 times, the House of Assembly threatened to impeach the governor. One of those occasions, they actually served him an impeachment notice until they had to withdraw it. So it's just really been tough for Fubara. So him deciding to withdraw from the APC primaries that was supposed to go on today, it changes the political dynamics of that state, and then we'll just keep our fingers crossed.
All right, again, I'd like to say welcome to everyone. This is the Breakfast Express show on MITV Plus. Thanks to everyone who contributed yesterday, and it's going to be another bout of discussions today. But first, we'll take a break, and then when we return, we'll look at the newspaper. So, I want to urge you and encourage you not to touch that dial. We'll be right here, and there's more coming from us. So please stay tuned. We'll take a break right now.
Progress no dey happen just like that. It dey come from support when you need am.
Mommy, I got the school fees. You too much.
Na money point o.
Money point, thank you.
Customer, na transfer abi? Confirm.
Bro, na transfer.
Na money point oga. Oh, na confirm.
Progress na peace of mind when you know say payment go land as sure banker. Progress na small wind where they carry person go far.
No worry, yourself go make am. Mo go Bible.
Victor, even you dey use money point?
Of course now, they use money point.
Confirm.
Money point, made for your progress.
You're welcome back. Now to the dailies. We'll be taking a look at the front pages of the newspapers and what they have to serve us for breakfast. I'm going to be starting with the Punch newspaper. The above the nameplate of the Punch newspaper, established Southwest Security Trust Fund now. Fubara withdraws as APC governors emerge sole aspirants. I was discussing with Okwe behind the scene, and I said to him, this headline, on the Punch newspaper, very strangely seems to be a little misleading, because I'm starting to say, so which party was Fubara? The point is that Fubara has withdrawn from the APC from the race. He's dropped out from the race. He has bowed out. And of course, the sole aspirant from the APC is now going in for the elections. All right. We also have Oyo abduction. Abbas demands rescue as military deploys jets. Political thuggery killing Nigeria's democracy, and that's coming from Jonathan. We're hearing a little more from Jonathan these days, very strangely. Why are you laughing? Okay, court trial. Accused colonel rejects military court. But the military court is for military men now, isn't it for military officers? So yes. Why is he rejecting the military court? He wants to go to the civilian
Maybe
court.
He wants to go to a civil court.
Oh,
and,
sorry. Yeah.
It's a case of a coup. It's a military action committed while you're still in military.
But it's the military court that takes decisions on things like that.
It's supposed to be. But maybe there's a waiver to that. Maybe there's an option for them to choose.
Perhaps he thinks that the courts will be more lenient.
You committed a crime while you're in uniform.
Exactly. I don't understand. Okay, Tinubu Soyinka Ladoja relieve Nadeko battle at Okpadokun's book launch. Is that what we're talking about? No, I don't understand. You are relieving Nadeko battle. The battle that's on ground, isn't it worse than the Nadeko battle?
Those people that are relieving the Nadeko battle, what role are they playing in the battle that we have on ground today? All
right. CBN holds rates as OPS flags manufacturing risks. Well, that's all from the Punch newspaper this morning.
Well, talking about the Rivers situation, Kingsley Chinda is now the only sole aspirant or candidate that will go in for the APC governorship primaries today in Rivers. George Kelly, Tony Cole, Fubara, 3 of them have resigned and they've stepped aside. But it didn't happen today. The last week, where the screening for the All Progressive Congress State House of Assembly was done, 32 House of Assembly aspirants and sitting members perceived to be loyal to the governor were screened and they were disqualified. The former deputy governor to Wike, now Senator Ibalipo, perceived to be loyal to Fubara also, failed to secure a return ticket to the Senate. So it seems to be an open conspiracy in respect to how the people want to run, how the things have to be done, and how some of these things, would span out. That's why I said that if you want to feed with the devil, if I don't get enticed with any meal prepared by the devil, they used to say that if you want to eat the devil, make sure your spoon is long. Fayose warned Fubara. Fayose told him that the only time you can have peace in your life is if you are at peace with Wike. And the moment that fell out, the moment there was that state of emergency, the moment there were those issues, we knew that things had fallen apart and the center obviously will not hold. So the statement of Fubara is like, okay, for the peace of River States, that's why he's stepping down. So let's see how that would happen. Maybe Wike is going to be the one that will produce both the PDP and the APC governorship candidates in the states. So I
was actually expecting, let me just respond to your question. I was actually expecting that headline will be in all the newspapers. And because the Punch newspaper headline, for me, was kind of misleading. I didn't, the way it was put was not I didn't feel very comfortable with. I thought, we could just move, and for some other paper we could discuss. So I wasn't really prepared, for that discussion at that point. All right.
Okay.
So let's look at the
CBN retains rates at 26.5%. Says no FX market intervention.
Which newspaper is this? The Vanguard?
Yeah, I'm taking Vanguard.
Okay.
On insecurity, Nigerians have constitutional right to self-defense. That is coming from the presidency.
Can we discuss that?
Nigerians have constitutional rights to self-defense. That is coming from the presidency.
And I think that is that statement is a statement, crying from lack of responsibility. I think that the man who has made that statement should just tender his resignation letter and say that he's not capable of doing his job. Now, if that be the case, then I would recommend that, there's this man who right now has been sentenced to death, because he tried to defend himself when hoodlums or bandits broke into his farm. And so perhaps this same man who has made this statement should go back to the courts, and say to them, let's retry this case, looking at it from this angle, because it is constitutionally correct, for Nigerians, to defend themselves. And okay, you see, sometimes when I speak on the program, it may not make sense at the particular time, but later it somehow starts to fall in place. Remember that yesterday I said that it's going to get to a stage where Nigerians will start to take arms to defend themselves. And you said, oh, it shouldn't be, it's not that deep, more or less, that we shouldn't get to that point that it's going to become an anarchy. I mean, well, the anarchy parts I can remember. This was your word. And with this kind of statement, the man who's supposed to be, proclaiming that law and order should be upheld, in the country, is the same man that is saying that we should all go and, defend ourselves. Because the truth is, right now, everybody is defenseless, and we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. This thing started a long time ago. It started from the north. We said it was the north. The north was too far. Then it went to the middle belt. We said it's the middle belt anyway. And then it starts to come down. It went to Kogi, it went to Kwara, and then right now it's, at our backyard. And now the only thing that, can be said to us, no explanation, no apologies, no promises, of intervention, of stopping this hooliganism. Absolutely nothing. So, was I not right yesterday when I said, let's all take up arms and defend ourselves?
Yeah,
it's coming from the people, our rulers, our leaders.
I'm going to take a cue from your analysis. This is basically a statement of owning up and say, I have failed as a government.
Of course.
The principal responsibility of every government, and when I say every government, it's not just the federal government, federal, state, and local, according to the Constitution, is that the safety and the welfare of the people. There's a reason why
not just the people, but life, the people and the property of the people.
There's a reason why the drafters of the Constitution put safety first. Because no matter how beautiful the hospitals you build, no matter how beautiful the roads you build, if the people don't feel safe, if the people don't feel alive, there's nobody that will benefit from those things. So there's a reason why the drafters of the Constitution says the principal responsibility of every government is to see to the safety and the welfare of the people. So if the presidency is coming out to say that is the Constitution allowed for us to carry to right to self-defense, good, yes, we know. That is why there's a certain level of weapon that if you apply for license, they can give you. So we know that the provision of the Constitution allows us to, if you are 18, if you don't have criminal record, if you are mentally stable, if your eyesight is good, those are the 5 conditions upon which they can approve. But that right belongs to the president. That's right to license to carry arms if you are not a military personnel. But do you know how many millions of Nigerians have arms? I'm not even talking about the bandits. So are the bandits that are killing people every day, do they also need arms to carry AK-47? Because you cannot carry AK-47 in Nigeria. You cannot own AK-47 in Nigeria.
What happened to Amotekun? What happened to Amotekun when they tried to...
When Rotimi Akeredolu wanted to get them, institutionalized and get them armed, and the Senate said, no. And there's this, there's that. But the question is this. If at the end of the day, the presidency comes out to say that we have right to self-defense, that means as I am, I can apply and say, listen, my community is not safe. My family is feeling threatened. Okay, give me a license. I want to own a gun. The consequence of that is this, and I will agree with you, and then I should put out a little of my position. Is Nigeria ready for legalization of weapons? So if you look at one of the traits of a failed state, let me use Haiti for instance.
Are you asking me a question?
No, I'm just pushing it out. Let me use Haiti for instance. There are people on the street of Haiti that hawk guns the way we buy soda on the street of Lagos. That is a failed state, and that's a fact. That yes, people can have self-defense, but it could be funny that conversations or argument that you and I can sit down and sort out, we could go violent with it. But on the other side, the consequence of that is this. 3 of us or 5 of us are in this studio, and then you are coming to that place to kill people, and then you get, if I come into this place, I don't know whether the people in this place also have weapons. You will think twice. There was a situation in November last year in the US where a young man walked into a church and then he pulled out a gun and shot one person, and 3 people in the congregation pulled out their gun and they killed him.
That's right.
So if you know that people have guns, if you know that people are armed, you think to us and say, this community I'm going to attack.
You'll be guided
If
accordingly.
there are 20 bandits that are going to this community and 35 people in that community have guns, we may be able to kill only 2, but they can kill all of us. So that is the. So I'm trying to understand why the presidency will make this statement at this critical moment, when the people are asking to be. Do you know that people were abducted again in Ibadan yesterday?
I know, but the 2 people, right?
Yes.
2 people. But listen, Okwe, you see, I always tell you that nothing ever surprises me. I don't expect. Look, a government that has come this low, I don't know what
you are
else.
reminding us that we have the right to self-defense.
Exactly, telling us that you failed.
When we are moving towards a failed state. See, if you look at it,
It's just confirmation. Okay?
almost all the boxes you need to tick for a country to be a failed state, we are moving towards it. How do you explain a situation where a 2-year-old had been in the captivity of bandits for the past 1 week, and the president is supervising the primaries in this country?
Eating and drinking. You don't get it. Okay, maybe you shouldn't have brought this to your LT.
No, I'm just.
Maybe you shouldn't have brought, because you know that I am particularly when it
I
comes.
know.
It just makes me.
So if the
flip.
presidency is now looking at this crucial moment and saying that, well, fellow Nigerians, constitutionally you have the right to self-defense. Okay, so let all of us apply to bear arms. Then you have 10 people in the public transport, and the conductor and passenger are arguing over 100 naira change. And then somebody pulls out the gun and shoot the conductor. And that's how anarchy looms and blooms in the country.
But let me tell you something. This government has been known to speak words and make statements that they don't fulfill. And at the end of the day, they turn around. It's a 360.
See,
it's a let me. That's what I'm about to say. It's a 360-degree turn. Just as it was rightly said that, in 4 years, that power would have improved tremendously. And if it has not improved, do not vote for me. I mean, this was a statement of fact. The next thing we are hearing is that, the process is in place, but it has started. It has been set in motion.
Some people are having more power than
I don't understand.
Now you're having 8 hours.
I have often said on this program that if that is the way that our leaders see Nigerians, I am one Nigerian that's different. I have intellect, I have intelligence, I have education. So I don't understand what you mean when you make one statement and you're making a completely different statement and expecting it to fly with some people.
Let me hold your thought for a second.
No, don't hold my thought. Don't hold my thought yet, because I've not landed. Now listen, this thing that they're doing, okay, the minute anybody tries to defend themselves, they're going to sentence those people to death. I'm telling you. The first thing that they should do, like I said, is they should get the court to reverse that judgment on that man. Let's know that these people are serious, because they know how to set baits for people, and then they lick their vomit and swallow their vomit, and it's a totally different thing. So like you said, it's a trap that they're setting. Nigerians need to be very, very wary.
That's what I wanted to say. You see, the case of the man you were referring to, that the bandit attacked him, and then so the interpretation of the law says that the moment somebody is attacking you, so self-defense is relative. The moment someone is attacking you and then you dispossess the person of the weapon, is no longer self-defense, because the person does not have the weapon again. It is you. So if somebody is coming to attack you with a gun and then you dispossess the person of the gun and then you use the gun to shoot the person, the law says that is no longer self-defense. That is murder.
Hey, but
do you understand?
I want to ask you a question.
No, I'm supporting what you are saying.
I know, but it's not that you will support holistically. Let me ask this one more question.
If the court says that you have right to self-defense, and then you make reference to that situation, the court will now say, but when you were coming, maybe you collected the gun.
But I even want to ask one more question. Okay, you dispossess the person of the gun. How are you sure the person does not have another gun in his pocket?
So
I will bring it out.
That's where the court will come out and say, since you have dispossessed the person, the person is you are no longer defending yourself, because it was not done in the midst of combat. Oh, you had a knife, he had a knife, then you guys were fighting, then out of nowhere somebody. That's why I'm saying that the country will set a bait for you.
Of course, that's
and
what
then
it
you will
is.
rush to go and buy gun. And then out of nowhere, they'll come and search you and they'll tell you that you have illegal possession of firearms.
Exactly.
The same presidency that is telling you that you have the right to self-defense. That's what I'm saying, that don't fall for this statement.
Nigerians should not fall for this statement. So Nigerians, because you know the people that are governing you. You know how it is.
Do you know how funny it can be? Let me say this. Don't think every gun owned in this country is registered. I'm not even talking about the bandits. I'm talking about Nigerians that have weapons. The people that studied welding and fabricating in some of these colleges, this polytechnic, they'll fabricate a pistol for you. Nicely. Sharp. It doesn't cost them anything. Those boys that do welding and fabricating, they'll pull up. So don't think it's because there are people that have weapons in this country. And the question is this: if the presidency is saying that you have right to self-defense, hello. So if I have a gun now and somebody tips up the police and they come to search my house and then they find and there's no license for that gun, would I be charged to court? Or can I make reference to this statement made by the president? Exactly. That we have the right to self-defense? Nigerians don't fall for it.
I think the courts should come out and make a statement because this don't forget that this statement did not come empty. It came with a backing. Said it is constitutionally allowed. It is in the constitution.
I'm even worried about the timing of this.
What I am worried about is the quality of leaders that we have. For a leader to come out and be making this statement at this time, so insensitive.
So you're basically telling me that I can go to one of those northern borders and because if you see the provocation of small arms across the Sahel, you can literally walk into some neighboring border across the country and pick up gun cheaply and put it and move around.
Well, I think that right now, if this is the case, then supermarkets, should have a section where they sell guns, and we can just walk in like we want to buy our biscuits and our chocolate. We'll go to the the stationery section. There is a confectionery section. You just go to the what do you call it? Gun section.
I'm 18,
weapon section.
I tell them my idea. I say, give me 0.2 mm there, black. Here's the gun for me. Put my surname on it.
I don't want the one that has any plastic on it. Just make the whole metal. You understand?
Hot. The one that will be
the long one. You now give them specification.
I mean, like the government understand the gravity of this
They're just a bunch of jokers that we have out there. It's such a shame. It's such a shame. It's really such a shame, honestly, because these are people that we hitherto had looked up to. And when I say we, I'm not speaking for myself. When we sit on this table, we're not speaking for ourselves. Everything that we're saying to you is what Nigerians are saying. A lot of people are so disappointed in the leadership that we have today. But I'm not excluding myself from that list. I take full responsibility for everything that I say. We are actually disappointed in the kind of utterances that our leaders, speak. Look at the Senate president who said 2 weeks after, I took the words from him. Very lousy statements, very lousy and irresponsible statements.
When the Senate president says that Nigerians, anywhere you see food, eat.
So
it's just like when the father wakes up and tell the children that, anywhere you see food, you eat. So that means as a father, you are telling your kids that you have failed to provide food for them. So anywhere they see, whether they steal, whether they sacrifice at the T junction, whether they beg, anywhere they see food,
they should eat. Because you can't provide for them. You can't fulfill your obligations as a father.
Because I can no longer defend you. That's what the government is saying.
What a disappointment. Every day we wake up to something that further demoralizes us. Yesterday, I remember that, I shed a lot of tears yesterday and day before yesterday. And, hoping that, things would get better today. And you come and see this kind of things in the headlines of the newspapers. And you want us to sit here and be smiling with you and saying that, the Nigerian government is doing what?
Let's go on. I will press for time.
Still on the Vanguard newspaper, right?
I understand, yeah. I was still on the Vanguard newspaper. And it's also reporting on the governorship primaries that we're expecting to have today. It says APC Delta North primaries rigged, Ned Nwoko claims. Okay? Nadeco at 32. Oil subsidy and exchange rates. The cabals want me dead. That is coming from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Ask Nigerians to expect better deal in his second term. Soyinka, Oshoba, Ladoja, others cut way forward for Nigeria's democracy. Says sacrifice of democracy martyrs must not be in vain. Nadeko honors Vanguard orders for democratic struggle. Okay, that's much about it from the Vanguard. Let's see what the Nation is talking to us about the Nation.
All right, the Nation newspaper 2027, Lamido cautions Jonathan on Turaki Group's offer. The Nation newspaper, Odi. More arrests over Oyo abduction. Governor issues orders. Subsidy beneficiaries are among terrorism backers, says Tinubu. Well, if you know that, why don't you face them?
Why are you telling us?
I mean, what's our own in the matter? Big battle for APC tickets in Oyo, Kwara as Fubara withdraws. And the writer for that story is governorship primaries also dicey in Nasarawa, Gombe, Bauchi. Yilwatdas briefs president. CBN retains interest rates and others. And finally, from the Nation newspaper, ADC presidential ticket, Atiku Amechi Hayatuddin ready for consensus and direct primaries. That's it from the Nation newspaper.
Okay, so which other newspaper are we picking?
You want to look at the Daily Sun?
Let's look at the Daily Sun. And 2027, Governor Fubara withdraws from APC primaries. And I think this is more clear. And this is very void of any ambiguity.
Exactly.
The sitting governor is an APC member and has withdrawn from participating in the governorship primaries.
I'd like to discuss it now.
Simple.
It's as simple as that. Well, Fubara, some people think that, you know, he was a coward, that if Wike was in his position as a sitting governor, Wike would ensure that he fights it to his last drop, that Fubara shouldn't have withdrawn, and so on and so forth. Some other school of thought is that, you know, he has bowed out, you know, graciously, knowing that there is no hope ahead of him. Even his 32 loyalists, you know, they were all disqualified. Now, this politicking, it stinks. It stings and it disgusts, honestly, because it is crystal clear. Now, you see, the fact that Wike has even gotten so far as to destabilize the government of Rivers State is simply because he has Oga's backing. The CNC has given him, you know, the go-ahead. Wike should be curtailed and contained, if you ask me. He has gone too far. Wike has no business in governing Rivers State when he is, you know, in the office of the minister, you know. He was the governor of Rivers State, and in his time, Wike did not allow his predecessor.
He retired all of them.
I mean,
even the predecessor before his predecessor.
He cleared all of them. And you see, let me tell you something. On this table, I always simply put it. I say what goes around comes around. Because you see, those spectators who have been watching all this while the game has been playing, while the stage has been changing, will still be there when the tables will turn. And you see, we keep warning people. We say, listen, nothing lasts forever. The only constant thing in life is change. Wike, you were the one who sat down where you were sitting down and said you wanted to shoot a journalist who was expressing himself, who was telling the exact truth. Do you think that you have the monopoly of speech? Do you think you have the monopoly of expression? These are simple questions, because I know that someday you may say you want to shoot yourself, not me. I'm just asking simple questions because people are nauseated. Now, Fubara has stepped down. I don't know why people think he was a coward. I don't know why he should listen. There's no reason why anybody who has dignity, who has integrity, should be fighting with swines. Okay. And I'm not referring to anyone as a swine. I'm just saying that's what our parents used to tell us while we were growing up. That you don't ever fight with swines. What do they mean as swines? Swines in this case is that people who will dirty you, who will rub mud on you. And that's the game. That's what has been happening. Fubara has been stained. He has been dirtied. He has been, you know, he has been messed up. You understand? Okay. So he should, I think, I think, in my opinion, I think Fubara bowing out is the most honorable thing to do. But having said that, Fubara should be ready. Because in Nigeria, that's the way it rolls. Fubara should be ready to face the FCC. Fubara should be ready to face, all the agencies. Because they will really finish you, dirty you, and finish you. And it is not good enough. Nigerians, we had hope. We had hope when they said it was going to be a renewed hope. We were tired. We were strangulated. Why will any Nigerian be asking Jonathan to come back? I mean, for those who were asking him sincerely, why were they wishing him to come back? It was because even when they had criticized him and said his government was the worst government, it was far better than what we are facing now. So it's like we rather live in those days than live in the days that we are now. Where all Nigerians are asking for, where nobody wants to sit down and criticize anybody. But we're only asking that we have food to eat, that we are secure in our own country, that our children have hope for a greater future, that we don't lose our children to the international world.
I said something at the start of this show. Yoruba says,
you have to use a long spoon. It means that if you want to dine with the devil, you use a long spoon.
So I'm changing that narrative that no matter how enticing the devil's meal is, avoid it.
Avoid it.
No matter how long you think your spoon is, there's a way the devil will hold you and break that spoon. So you and the spoon, they will throw you away. That's what happened to Fubara. That is the summary of what happened to Fubara. And I think, in my opinion, which I think I'm entitled to, Fubara should have resigned the moment they restored democracy in Rivers State.
Yeah.
If a president, equally elected as you were elected, suspended democratic governance in your state, suspended you, suspended your deputy, suspended the entire House of Assembly in your state for 6 months, what you should have honorably done was, thank you for bringing back democracy, but I give you the democracy, go and eat it.
And which is what Jonathan did.
They were giving Fubara different terms and conditions. When Fubara was sworn into as governor, up to his chief security details, there were people appointed for him by Wike. But let's go back to how this whole thing started. When Fubara wanted to be governor, do you know how many people's political career was truncated because of Fubara? Wike insisted that it was only Fubara or nothing. 7 other governorship hopefuls went to court to challenge Wike, handpicking only Fubara. Wike collected funds for every single person that participated in the election in 2023 in Rivers, including his deputy that went to the Senate, Senator Ibalipo. Now she has been denied a ticket to go back because she's perceived to be loyal to Fubara. Fubara was never a politician. Fubara was the accountant general of Rivers State. He never got into politics. He's a proper civil servant that does not have political structure. He does not have political strength. He does not have anything.
Just like Jonathan.
During the campaign of Fubara, Fubara barely said a word. Wike was the one campaigning for him. And Wike made some when you talk about honor in Nigerian politics, there are 2 separate things. Just like you talk about ideology. This same Wike was criticizing Tinubu for wanting to have a grip of Lagos. This same Wike criticized Senator Adams Oshiomhole for wanting to have a grip on the politics of Edo. And then Wike was saying, Rivers no be Lagos. That anybody that becomes a governor is powerful, leave him. And Yoruba used to say another thing that, the fact that you made me governor,
no, we have to break that
meaning
down.
That if you dash someone a goat, you leave them with the goat and the rope. But what Wike did for Fubara is I made you governor, I will make you, and I will break you.
Now let me correct an impression though that Nigerians have. They keep saying that Wike did it for Fubara. No, Wike didn't do it for Fubara.
He did.
Wike did it. Wike was looking at the broader picture. Wike did it for himself because he knew.
Fubara decided to be the
he believed that Fubara is the one person he can control. Yeah, that he can control. So it was not because of Fubara. If there was someone else who was,
more subduable than Fubara,
he would have. So it was not Fubara per se. It was Wike. Wike has always wanted to have control. He's always wanted to be like the one that he has criticized, which is the Lagos State, which is the former Lagos State governor, the now president. He has criticized the our president, but he he's always in his mind envied him and wanted to be like him, and that's why he put Fubara
But the
there.
truth again is this: let us leave all the buzz around Wiki and all of that. Let's talk about Fubara himself. You know, sometimes you don't know the weight of the political power that you carry as a sitting governor.
Exactly.
And it's going to be difficult to think otherwise. I've seen Fubara display some obvious weakness. You know, you coming up to say that, well, whatever happens in the state, you don't mind to die to defend democracy, you will die as a martyr. There's no martyr done for you anywhere, Fubara, because you decided to die with the devil.
Yeah.
Fayose warned him. When Fubara won the election on the eve of the swearing, Fayose said, if you want to enjoy peace, continue to have peace with this man. It was making reference to Wike. Fayose warned Fubara that, you see this dining table you want to go to, are you sure you can stand the pressure? And Fubara was there, smiling, enjoying the buzz of what comes around. People's political ambitions were truncated. People that have been politicians in River for 10, 15, 20 years and wanted to be governor, Wike said no. Wike collected funds for every single one of them. And what happened? You were in the government. You could not even play the politics. See, let's be sincere with ourselves.
My father had always said, just like my mother used to say that, you know, don't mix with swines and all of that.
You don't want to get in that mix.
Yes, and then my father used to say politics is a very dirty game.
Politics
These are words that I remember vividly, even though they long died.
Politics is a crime. That's a fact.
I like that one. What do you say?
Politics is a crime.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
Politics is a crime.
Yes.
Politics is a crime.
So if you want to go into it, be ready to play the game to the fullest.
To become a criminal.
There are no emotions in the game. No, see, like I said, is that I was going to comment as a political analyst, right? And in the politics, there's no moral compass in politics. It's not a school of, it's not an emotional bank. It's a place where you either go home or you go hard. Because the politics we play in Nigeria is brutal. There's no emotions, there's no sentiment in there, there's nothing like ideology, there's nothing like empathy.
Is there anything like democracy?
It's a winner. Yes, we have democracy. You still
Where?
You won't take me back.
No, I mean in Nigeria.
Yes,
Okay.
we have democracy. It's people practicing the government that are messing it up. So if Umar wanted to play the game, what has he done to build his own political base in almost 4 years as governor? You're the governor of one of the richest states in this country. You have resources within your confines. Sit all of these your hungry House of Assembly members down. Say, what do you people want? I know some of you are still paying rent in Port Harcourt. I'll buy a house for you. And this is me saying how politics should be played.
But that's what you just said. You said that Fubara is not a politician.
Exactly.
So that's
so
why
you expect all of these things that is happening to
Precisely.
him. Nobody should play that sentiment card of this. Excuse me. You knew the person you were dealing with too. You saw when the other aspirant like you went to court to challenge why Wike did not allow them to participate in primaries. You were enjoying the paraphernalia of that office as a governor. Oh, so you think that when the devil gives you egg, he will not come back and ask for chicken? Okay, rest.
Okay, let's go back to the newspapers. Okay, Daily Sun. You're still on the Daily Sun.
Okay, 2027. Jonathan warns of looming danger.
This Jonathan has been talking a lot. He's been talking a lot. The man himself should watch what happened to Fubara. This same Jonathan was the one who said, that he's free at last, that he had been caged. So this man wants to come back to this cage. I don't understand it. Whether it is by convincing or whether it is by his own of his own will. I'm not thinking that cage will be a good cage.
You see how Jonathan's zone is going now.
Exactly.
Do you know how Fubara's zone started? Though?
Jonathan should have known better. Look, Fubara, we understand that Fubara he had never been, but Jonathan,
he's been there.
Yeah, but in a different way.
Have learned better.
But Jonathan, who?
Jonathan.
And that's what I'm saying. That Jonathan has been there.
You see these people hanging carrots in front of you,
dangling the carrots.
My brother.
It is well.
It is the voice of Esau and hand of Jacob.
Okay.
Don't fall for it.
Because we're still going to come to this table.
Yeah.
And when we start to talk, don't say we're being too hard. Because we're just going to say it exactly as it is. We're not going to dress it in any way. You know, because Jonathan has no business going back into politics.
He really has no business.
He's not just an elder statesman in Nigeria. He's also he's an African statesman. He's an icon, even in Asia.
Even though I still don't understand why it's been this much celebrated. But
okay.
If you understand the politics of this country, you know that it's a game of numbers. Okay. So if you are waiting for the vote of the KKK, Kano, Kebbi, Katsina, and then you made a call, because you know that you've lost. But okay. let's give him that respect. And then he should maintain that respect. Because if Jonathan comes on the ballot, they will beat Jonathan so well that he will ask himself that why did I leave Otueke to come and join this
that beating is not going to be small.
Because the politics of what Jonathan left it's not The people here now, the weekend you left. How many years ago? It's no longer the weekend now.
Do you think weekend will be loyal to Patience Jonathan?
Who?
Do you think weekend will be loyal to Patience Jonathan that puts him there?
You know what I told someone a couple of months back?
Second base, Jerry.
I said the only person that is more powerful than Wike in this country today is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, not even the VP. And I'm telling you.
Okay.
Well, Jonathan warns of looming danger, says darker days ahead if court continues to determine outcome of elections, and of course, hinged faith on May 26th court ruling. That's challenging his legibility to context. Presidency moves to rewrite 26-year telecoms policy, eyes 1.6 trillion revenue and 2 million jobs. Okay, you're ready to pay more tax. It's okay. Police confirms abduction of 2 crane staff in Ibadan. That's yesterday. Nigeria now produces 10,000
in Ibadan, not Oyo.
In Ibadan.
In Ibadan. So you know it's coming closer.
Elele, and Elele is the heart of the town.
So we've been counting it. So we started with the north, went to the Middle East, went to Kebbi, and what's it? And now we said Middle East. Now then we now went to Kwara and
people are forgetting Ekiti.
Now
Ekiti,
yes, so Ekiti, then Oyo. And now Ibadan.
It's coming home. Yeah, some of us that are staying on Lagos, but
when they keep bringing their trailers and offloading them, nobody is saying anything. I don't know why in Nigeria we don't like to be proactive. We only want to be reactive, and that's not helping us in any way. Anyway, they've said we should go and start securing ourselves.
So they say we have constitutional rights.
We have constitutional rights.
So I see your bag now, you'll be checking your
and
bag.
If I bring out a gun, you're in trouble.
Okay. Okay. The Minister of Interior is saying that Nigeria now produces about 10,000 passports per hour. Decades of delay ended with a centralized system. Court decides ADC AP orders registration on the 5th of June. As Atiku Amechi Ayatudin gets ADC screening in preparation for the 2027 election. On ASU, fragile peace universities are under threat by the federal government. That is ASU warning that the thing you are celebrating that we've not gone on strike for years, that peace is currently being threatened. So, and that is much on the Daily Sun. I think we have Nigerian Tribune before we call it a day on this section.
Okay, I'll go to the Nigerian Tribune. They're above the nameplate of the Nigerian Tribune. Atiku Amechi Ayatudin appeared before ADC presidential screening panel. Nadeco launch. Tinubu alleges plot to destabilize Nigeria over economic reforms. And the writer for that story is promises to address many political demands and reforms. Nigeria Republic of Liars. And that's coming from Shoyinka. CBN retains lending rate at 26.5% as MPC battles persistent inflation and global uncertainties. The banner headline for the Nigerian Tribune, APC governorship primary, 13 incumbents set to return unopposed. The rider, as Fubara withdraws from race, Aliyah, Kefas face challengers. Oyo aspirants insists on direct primary, anxiety over disqualification of Plateau governor's rival. Battle Royale in Kwara. Yilwatda meets Tinubu, defense consensus deal. Otedola plans to invest $100 million in Dangote refinery through private placement. All Nigerians will have access to the refinery's IPO and be part owners, and that's coming from Dangote. NDLEA arrests Nigerian-Mexico drug syndicate, seizes 480 billion meth in Ogun forests.
I watched that video.
You did?
I did.
How was it?
I think the last time I saw such I'm trying to look the right word, was inside Breaking Bad. Like it's I think I'll share.
Coordinated action.
There were 3 Mexicans brought in specifically to cook meth. That's what they brought in to cook meth. If you see this compound, if you see the place, all fenced, well protected, and guess what? 11 Nigerians work with them. It was coordinated because as they were busting that place inside one of the villages in Ogun State, they were also busting the house of the owner, a Mexican, at Lakowe Gardens. That's where he stayed. So it was a major bust. Almost 500 billion worth of streets meth were collected from them. Chemicals, drugs. And I just keep asking myself, the CFO of that land, who issued it? Who sold that plot of land for them? Do you know the funniest thing? It was in one very remote corner of one village. You will not even imagine.
It was a tip-off, obviously.
Billions is being done there. The criminality of that place. In fact, you needed to see the way the NDLA stormed up. It was as if they wanted to go and carry Shekau, the leader of the Boko Haram.
But I really wish.
Well, they caught the 3 Mexicans, and then they caught the other 11 Nigerians that work with them. Unfortunately, it's just that when they say that the thief cannot come to rob without an insider, there was no way those Mexicans will have asked so much. Imagine when they bring you from Mexico and say, the only thing you are coming to do is not to develop your country, this country. Come on, you see what the people are doing there. Come and cook meth. Do you know the devastating effect of the quantity of what must have gone from that place into the streets? So when NDLA keeps reporting that they had a drug bust, they arrested people at the airport, do you think those things are coming from other countries? Those things are coming from Nigeria, going out of the country. I watched that video yesterday. I was like, wow. It felt like a movie. It felt like a movie. You know those things you watch in Mexican movies where they go into a warehouse and then there's a drug bust and then you see cocaine everywhere, you see meth everywhere, and I'm like, yeah. In this our same Ijebu here, in this Ogun State here.
It's such a shame, honestly. And then,
Ogun State though, and where then, your friend, the governor is your friend now. Hello.
Okay, don't start what you can't finish, really. Okay, on a more serious, I don't understand how the governor has become my friend. We both live in Ogun State. How much?
No, I live in the house.
How well has he performed? I mean, if I criticize the governor of Ogun State on this table, I mean, it's worth it. No, has he given you good roads?
No.
Has he provided power for you?
No.
We get power from Ibadan Electric.
Yes.
We get our light once in 2 weeks.
Because it's in our
so what are we talking about? We've benefited nothing. I have benefited nothing from him. And if I criticize him on the table, it's because he needs to be criticized constructively.
He's our friend.
You know. Okay, so gunmen abduct 2 crane workers in Ibadan. Government moves what's this? SS3 students writing wire to neighborhood schools. Makinde signs executive order to regulate vigilante and security groups in Oyo. What are we doing to get these people back? The 2-year-olds, the 4-year-olds, the 7-year-olds. What are we doing? Do we really mean serious business? Sometimes, you know, women need to be leading. If women are leading, it won't be like this. Like, seriously.
All through yesterday, a friend of mine reached out and wanted to have like a comprehensive report on the killing, on the abduction in Oyo State. So I reached out to the PPRO for Oyo State Police Command. Very sound and very approachable. And we're talking over the phone. And he said, listen, that the problem they have in the state is the fact that there are places, there are so many unguarded spaces in Oyo. And I'm wondering, like, I've been to Oyo State a couple of times. I've been to Bomosho, I've been to Ibadan, I've been to this one. I'm like, you are struggling to know that where are these unguarded spaces? Then when I now went to read about the Oyo the National Wildlife Park in Oyo State, and I'm like, whoa, that's like 3 local governments in Lagos combined. It shares border with Benin Republic.
It has not. Did they just allocate that to them? Did they just allocate that?
So those guys have been grooming themselves. They've been taking spaces in those.
Let's try a woman for a change. Like, seriously.
I'll support you.
Let's try a woman for a change.
Support
you know me, I'm not a politician, but I just wish.
I really wish. Or maybe our friend, Barrister Rekia Hazard, the former chairperson of Onigbongo.
Yeah, that woman.
Yes, she's
very active.
If she wanted to turn the Apple's card with James Faleke, I'm sure James Faleke will say, "Oh my God."
No, that woman was that woman.
Maybe we should try her.
Perhaps.
Okay.
So still on the Nigerian Tribune, the health mixing edible cannabis alcohol may impair driving more than expected. I think that's the obvious as stated. And finally, 2026 Hajj. Saudi authorities to translate Arafat's sermon into Yoruba, Hausa, and 33 other languages. And that's how we wrap up the newspaper review segment on the Breakfast Express show on MITV Plus. We'll take a break right now, and when we return, there'll be more. Please stay tuned.
From 11 June to 19 July, everything can wait. The FIFA World Cup 2026. Catch all 104 matches on 4 dedicated channels, live on SuperSport, only on DSTV.
You're welcome back. It's time for us to have our discussion segment, and the topic today is corruption in Nigeria's education sector. We begin this morning with a conversation that touches every Nigerian family because whether you have a child in primary school, secondary school, or university, what we are about to discuss concerns you directly. Corruption in Nigeria's education sector is not new, but the depth to which it has now burrowed into every layer of our learning system is alarming and, frankly, shameful. It starts early at the primary school level. Teachers are being bribed to manipulate results, laying the foundation of dishonesty in children who are barely old enough to understand what integrity means. By secondary school, parents and pupils are no longer asking how to study harder. They are asking which special center will help them pass WAEC and NECO without opening a single textbook. And by the time we get to the university level, admission itself has become a commodity bought and sold to the highest bidder. While young Nigerians who sat down, studied hard, passed JAMB, and qualified for their chosen courses are being handed random alternatives, told to pick something else. Usually because somebody allegedly purchased the slot that was rightfully theirs. Let that sit with you for a moment. You passed the exam, you earned the place, and someone took it from you and sold it. Okay.
Well, the question on the table this morning is not just about policy or government. It's a deeper and more uncomfortable than that. What is wrong with us as a people? When did we become so comfortable with cheating with our children out of a future? Joining us to unpack this conversation this morning is an accountant and a public relations specialist, Mr. Dapo Daramola. It's a pleasure to have you join us on the show today.
Thank you very much.
And let's go straight up into it.
Straight up. Let me say hello to him. Good morning, Mr. Dapo Daramola. You didn't give me a space to say hello.
Sorry.
Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast Express show. All right.
Well, Mr. Daramola,
before he starts rushing you, because this man.
It's a pleasure to have you join us. But if you look at it, we're looking at the role of government, we look at the parents, we look at the students themselves, because some of those people even, push for their parents to register them in these miracle centers and all. But even away from that, recently, JAM gave some new developments from 150 to the cutoff 100 for polytechnics and colleges of education. In fact, they removed it totally for NC, just have 4 credits. How did we get to this point in terms of the start of education in this country before we even start looking at how corrupt it has become?
What it is the fact that our society, it's actually the problem. Now, if you look at you and I, while growing up, you remember Lacombs, Aromolaro, I don't know.
No, not
no,
you.
let me
Okay, turn to me.
Remember,
of course I do.
Aromolaro,
Certainly.
and then at that point in time, going to school was a thing of pride and dignity. And when you are involved in education and all that pertains to the progress in education, it's a thing of pride for you to say, nobody never wanted to have F. You understand? Your father will say, even you, prize giving day, you come out boldly. I don't think they do it anyone, and if they do it, I don't know how they do it. But you see, taking it in context to what we're discussing today, I think corruption is being introduced at the cradle. And it's dangerous. Dangerous in the sense that the values of our society is being destroyed. And it's destroyed, and it's from top to bottom. When I mean top to bottom, how do our politicians get to office? How do people get employment? How do people get... So let's start with that. Okay, before you talk about admission, yeah? It starts with, my child is still a young girl, small, maybe age 3, 4, And then you have this prideful disposition. I want my child to finish university by so age. He has to have first degree. Exactly.
Masters by 22.
And exactly. And if you look at, in our time, they introduced the 6334 curriculum. And it means that at a particular age, you must be in this class. And in other climes, you can't enter university except you are of the age of 18. Even if you score A plus all the way, you will still do that year. So what I'm trying to say in essence is, your child is not ready for school, but because you're working so hard, madam is working so hard, everybody is trying to make sure that I just want to earn a living, I want to do something, I want to do this. Nobody is ready to help you. No saloon is ready to come and stay with you. You know what? While growing up, we had uncles and aunties that grew up with us. We wouldn't even know whether they are, you don't even know in a house. Just like this one is my brother. But now, the society doesn't allow that support to come. So I'm trying to explain. All this is just a build up to somewhere. So your child is not ripe for school. You now say, and that school is saying, we can't admit this child. And then you say, don't worry, I will take it. You bend the rule. That's where it starts from. Once you bend the rule, and then that child will start growing. Then when the school, in Lagos State, there was a time, I was a PTA chairman in 2 schools that my children attend. And they said, you cannot leave to secondary school without primary 6. And then some parents said, no, my child will go in primary 5. I don't go for primary 6. They forgot that psychologically, the curriculum, the designers of the curriculum know that primary 6 is the age where you begin to discover yourself. Now, taking that child from primary 5 and boycotting primary 6, you've introduced corruption. Corruption doesn't have to be, I'm giving money, I'm stealing money.
Of money.
Yeah, it's just a way to circumvent a process. Do you understand? It could be economical, it could be quantitative, it could be qualitative, it could be subjective, it could be anything. So when that child knows that, I didn't do primary 6, my father paid one, they just did one exam, they paid one school, they took me in. That child already is imbibing the culture of corruption, of doing things that are not that are in variance with the society. You understand? So that child is already being immersed in the process and in the benefits, enjoying the benefit of corruption. And that's why when a child gets to secondary school, you start looking for special center. Centers where they get A's, they have, they score 350 in JAM, and the entire thing is painful because once you break, if you don't go through procedure and protocol, you will skip, once you skip a step, the collateral damage is much. So you find out that you get to university and then maybe university you get at an early age. Now, all this is the product of corruption. You buy your way through, you pay through, and that child at the end of the day is not helpful or is not useful to itself. You understand? So the child is waiting for daddy. We are doing exam now. They say, I want to sort lecturers. Do you understand? In fact, your parents will tell you there is a budget for lecturers that just, you want to travel when you come back, these lecturers, you see them buy lecturers gifts, cologne, perfume, things. All this is corruption. Now tell me, the child that went to university that paid to get admitted with 160, when cutoff is 220, and then the stakeholders, the people involved in this, there are many. The child, the parents, the school, the staff in the school, even the exam body itself. So you can see all the players, all the key players in it. Now this child goes to university and leaves school with a 2-1 or a first class, and then the guy cannot deliver on the job. Can't compete. You put them on the job and you see that they're telling you at that point in time everything is, they say you have scatter paper, and all that. So there's nothing you can do. So the effect of corruption of the society is beginning to affect the development of the society. Do you understand?
So that means that this corruption has not just started, because if we want to look at our leaders, what we see perhaps had started way, way, way back from the homes.
Yeah.
Because I always say that, you know, the attitude and character of a child speaks a lot about the home that that child has come from. And I don't think I'm far from the truth.
Not at all.
Looking at what you're saying, you know, this thing has not just started. It's just that it's getting worse by the second. Yes. Now, what is the way out of all of this?
So the way out for me is that from the home, from the very home, watch what you say in the presence of your kids, because these children are more intelligent than us. They have more exposure. They have gadgets. They have things that are training them every day. So the parent in this generation has a lot of work to do, because you have to first understand that that child, the way they're growing, the developmental stage is not like when we were growing. We didn't know a lot of things, but they know everything from age 5, 6. They know so much. And then you must learn to start putting the values of integrity. It starts with somebody is calling you and you're saying, I'm not at home, I'm here. And you're lying in front of that child, you know, and they're saying things and the child says that. So there is no barometer to measure integrity because it is broken. And the key stakeholders in this thing is the parents and the schools. The owners, not really the owners, the operators of some schools, not directly. If you find out, most of people encouraging this thing is not the owner of the school. They are just workers that are there, maybe teachers, admission officer, registrar, or one thing, or someone that is supposed to say, I want my child's name, and that child knows very well that, daddy, this is my results. It's not good enough. And you are saying, don't worry, you make that class. Don't worry, you will be admitted. It's not what money cannot buy.
More money
In Nigeria.
Yeah, in Nigeria. So already the parents, you know, we as parents must understand that everything we throw to our children, they have the propensity to make it bigger. You know, because these are kids that they are coding, they understand coding, they are doing AI. We didn't know AI. We didn't know all these things when we were growing up. We had to cram Sokatwa, chemistry, everything. Pythagoras theory, hello, before coming, never forget, offend. I'm not saying I'm an accountant, so, but I did all that. So in our time, we knew all this, and our parents, you can't even. In fact, let me tell you the shocking part, and what even kills it more is your child is being scolded in school, and the parents will go there and beat the teacher. And then the school will even beg you, because the school, they're looking for students.
And they maybe even suspend the teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let me just quickly come in. At this point, you know, I think I'm almost an expert because I'm the immediate past global president of my old students association. So I was a member of the school's management board.
Yeah.
And you know, when these complaints come and we have to look at them and all of that, it was so nauseating. There was a situation where, I mean, of course, because it's a federal government college. Yes. The Federal Ministry of Education has said no beating students anymore, which wasn't, you know, that didn't operate during our days, because I remember our principal used to beat, you know, and used to send senses into, you know, reset them and awaken their senses. But now they say don't beat the students. So now the students are beating the teachers.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and then you call the parents in, and the parents will come with police come and harass the teachers and the principal and bully the school, and you know, come on, what's going on?
So those are the things we're talking about. The solution to all this thing is, first, our parents should sit back and look at the kind of values our parents taught us while we're growing up, and you know, they should try and imbibe it in their children, because once there is no demand, they cannot be supplied. Once we demand for, I want my child to be a student, of course the market is the market force where demand and supply meet. The one that is equilibrium. If it's high, your money will be high, and then it creates an industry, you know, where they start thriving. I mean, before now, we're talking about the children that were kidnapped, yeah? It's because that industry is thriving and nobody has been able to bust it. And will continue. Do you understand? So in this concerning our topic of today, we need to learn to make sure that we do not patronize, and then we start instilling in our children the kind of values that we were taught when we were growing up. You know, I mean, I did school here, school in the north, and then they taught us Yoruba then in the north that not too many tea one share. Ishelomuni Denigiga Teakoba, you know, Murasho Lemi. Sorry, don't mind my Yoruba. I was born in the north, I grew up in school there. So the thing is, when you begin to break what makes us a good society, the norms and the values, then all these things will start.
Consequences of
oh, definitely. And let me shock you. Very soon, you will start seeing, if we don't tackle this thing well. Thank God for, I mean, the head of the registrar, Prof. Jam. Yeah. You know, look at what he's doing. But again, they're still going to try to compromise him, either through his lieutenant or by proxy. So we must, as parents, learn to start putting on that garment or that toga of integrity, moral, and consciousness, because it goes through everything that we do as a nation. These are the kids that, and you know, funny enough, when they go abroad, they sit down, they read, and they blast. They're one of the best.
Of course, they excel.
There's a provision where you can bypass the process here.
Yeah, you can't do that over there.
And again, coming back to the providers of, or those that are, you know, formulating our curriculum, you see, don't make it difficult for these students to want to pass the exam. I'm not saying you should give them something cheap, yeah, but the way it is, the curriculum we're running is archaic. It's archaic. When I was in university, you know, they taught us what a computer is. I mean, university, secondary school, university. Then they're teaching you a program. When the world is talking cyber, they're talking AI. You are still learning what is COBOL, what is Fortran, what is this. When people are thinking how to build solar panels, build space robotics, they are still saying, go and cram this chapter or this exercise.
Come and draw cockroach.
Yeah.
The parts of cockroach.
Do you understand? Now, those curriculums that we used was in the time of I won't say ignorance, but we didn't know much.
But as at that time,
it was very valid
because we needed it then. But now,
it's no longer useful.
Nobody, no child. I mean, guess what? When you give your child an assignment, what do they use? AI. You see results now. You see first class, maybe 80 students will have first class in one university.
In the class of 110 people, 85 will have first class.
Yes. No, in the whole university, in the whole university, 80 will have first class. And first class is not for everybody. You know how university professor has his own. So to wrap this up, it is a function of the society. We must learn to teach our children, and then the system too must be able to operate in a way that hard work will be rewarded and properly appreciated. Because if you look at scripts, there are times when you call for scripts and you see that some people just write nonsense, but the final result that will come, that child can have an A. It's part of corruption. And once we continue to encourage it, at times, parents also are the major culprit of this, because they are the ones that draw this demand. And then when your child is beginning to play and is not serious, do your assignment, I don't do my assignment, and then because you are hearing that Okwe's son is in Harvard, your own daughter is in Manchester or what big school in the world, and then
you also want your own kids to also be
and you want to overtake, you want to be like your peers. You know, you now start doing everything to compromise to push that child. And it's not every child that is tailored towards education. I mean, academics. Some are skillful with their skill set, with what God has given them. So the child will end up spending 8 years doing rubbish and then coming back to start, and then there's frustration, there's mental health. But all this is because the parents were not sensitive enough, and the parents, who are the major players, will patronize to make sure that that child gets what they want, not what the child has the ability to do. You understand? So those are the things that triggers the demand for corruption in education. You know, once the parents say, yes, I want it,
it's been made available.
Yeah.
So let's wrap up the conversation. There's a part of this whole thing that we're not really focusing on, and those are the regulators. I mean, you look at some of these processes, you look at JAM, you look at WAEC, they tell you that WAEC result at least days before the exam and all of that. How can the government be more assertive in making sure that the right things are being done? Because just like you said, there would always be the demand for those things. But if it's not available, the demand will continue to reduce.
Yes.
If you know that you cannot buy the process, you cannot boycott the process, you start getting things done properly. How can the government be effective in terms of implementing some of these policies to make sure that the education in Nigeria is clean, is not corrupt, is not bought, is not made of the highest bidder? How can the government do that? Let's wrap it up from here.
Okay, you know, I was listening to something this morning. I think it was in the news, that the fact that ASU is on strike now does not mean their demand has been met.
And they said the fragile piece.
The fragile piece. So for government to make this work, first and foremost, is to provide the necessary infrastructure and the environment in which this thing can thrive. Do you know that part of this thing is because the teachers, yeah, who are regulated by either Teachers Board or Ministry of Education, they're not well paid. Do you understand? And they too have needs. Do you understand? So there's a little to which regulators can do where the
players are exposed.
They're exposed. They have a life to live. They have bills to pay. And then when
somebody down
now where at the work I go chop.
Not to give you bring the money.
You understand? You've seen lecturers, and it's not only money. There's also the side of abuse, you know, sexual abuse.
Sexual abuse.
Do you understand? It's part of corruption. You have to say, I don't get money, but I get body. How you want to? Do you understand? And those are corruption. It doesn't have to be when you buy results or anything. As long as you don't go to class, you want to pass. So regulators don't know that aspect, and they can't comment. It is just us to change the entire value system that we operate within. And I think if government too can provide that environment and those infrastructure, then it will minimize, the propensity and the possibility of this happening will be reduced greatly. You know, that's what I believe.
So for me, our take home is, first of all, government should ensure that these people are well paid and are satisfied, give them incentives as and at when due. After all, Nigeria can afford it. To our parents, you know, our parents are the major culprits in all of this. We need to ensure that the values that were instilled in us by our parents, you know, we are passing these values on and insisting that our children, you know, live these values through their lives, and they're also impacting the generation after and the one after. Okay? And then again, the educational system itself, you know, the curriculum and the players, the administrators and all of that need to also, you know, stick to their guns, that irrespective of how bad it may seem now, we are resolving, you know, to stop taking bribe in any form, whether it is the bodies of female students, whether it is money or whatever. Cash or kind. I mean, simply put, cash or kind. So these are some of the things we are taking away from this discussion. And, you know, we hope that everyone who's been watching and has been thinking to themselves, how can this thing be resolved? You know, the resolution is here, right here on the table. Mr. Dapo Daramola has said to you, this and this and this is what we need to do. Now the ball is in your court. It's in your court. It's not like you don't know it anymore. are we going to start to practice, to live with integrity? That's the big question. On this note, we'd like to round up the Breakfast Express show on MITV Plus, and we'd like to say to you, Mr. Dapo Daramola, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us this morning. You're an accountant, and you're also a PR consultant, am I correct?
Yeah, I'm a consultant,
business consultant. Yeah. All right, nice to have met you, and thank you for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okwe, you have anything to say before we leave?
Well, nothing much. It's a Thursday. I will just appeal to you out there. Today is the gubernatorial primaries of the All Progressive Congress across the Federation. We saw some of the unhealthy dramas that came up yesterday for the House of Assembly. We saw for Kusofe and a few other places. Please, I would have to appeal to you. See, your blood is not worth whatever token you are being paid to make chaos, to cause chaos, to scatter everything. If the primaries is this chaotic and problematic, I hope you know that there's still the general election coming up. Stay safe out there. My name is Okoyemi. Okoyemi, and can have a beautiful Thursday. God willing, we'll be back here tomorrow.
And I hope that the ADC that's having their primaries today, I hope we're going to be learning. What we saw in the primaries of the APCs was not, the APC was not, for me, in my opinion, it wasn't anything appealing to me. When you start to count, from 10 to 100 and to 200, it tells me.
You saw the video.
Of course I did. It tells me how you are going to rule. So some of these things really are not necessary.
And our children are watching.
Our children are watching. And then the thing is that somebody has come to a particular position because of the pedigree that he had when he was given an opportunity to serve at a particular time. You don't need to mess these things up. So anyway, that's my own observation, and I'm reaching out to other political parties. Just do the right thing so that people will decide who they want to actually vote for. Thank you for watching the show. My name is Tom Aderele, and I always say to you, go stand in front of a mirror, look at your inner self, and if there's anything you need to change, please change it ASAP so that we can make the world a better place. Thank you for watching the show. We'll see you again tomorrow. God bless you.